All right, everyone, welcome back into another NFL DFS video. Going to be breaking down the Sunday night showdown here that we have between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Houston Texans. Kind of an interesting game, close game, low-scoring game. Let's go ahead and get into it. So yes, guys, as I mentioned, it's projected to be a lower scoring game, 41.5 total points, 3.5 point spread in favor of the Chiefs winning. I'm sure that's due to both defenses just playing pretty darn well. What's interesting about the Houston offense is the pass catchers have been a little bit better under Davis Mills and not CJ Stroud. So we'll talk about that. But in regards to injuries for tonight's slate, there really isn't much, which should make it a little bit easier for us to break down. And so let's go ahead here and start out with Houston, guys. There was one injury during the game last week for Houston, and that was in regards to Woody Marks. Woody Marks only ended up playing 56% of the snaps. We also saw Nick Chubb score a rushing touchdown in that game. Now, that is due to Woody Marks getting banged up in the middle of the game. He was good, though. He looked good on film. 19 carries in that game. He's basically had 17 or 19 opportunities now in 4 straight games, which is obviously pretty darn appealing for us. He is the clear workhorse running back there for that team. Now, it's not the best matchup for him, but he did get 20 out of the 29 opportunities, 68% of them. Okay, so we like that there from him. I'm surprised at his lack of passing game usage, guys, but he's at a price tag where he's almost too high price to really get to as like a captain choice. Maybe if you end up on him in your flex, you're fine with it. He is a little bit touchdown dependent. Now, Nick Chubb did look good as well. He's going to get a few carries. You do need him to probably score a touchdown, which actually we got a new short yardage touchdown score for the Houston Texans, and that's actually their backup tight end, Cade Stover. Cade Stover ended up playing in 41% of the snaps, but had 4 QB sneaks. Maybe they get a DPI on the 1 yard line and he gets into the end zone for a tight end rushing touchdown. Wouldn't be the craziest thing that we've ever seen. Not a terrible idea. But that does obviously hurt Woody Marks and also Nick Chubb if they are going to do something like that. So from there, I do really like Nico Collins here, even though the Chiefs defense has been very solid. Nico Collins just going to play a bunch of snaps, guys. Played in 73% last week, which wasn't that much, but 78% route share. Did have 10 targets. Obviously, we're going to chase the 10 targets. That's very appealing to me. Now, another thing that we kind of struggle with for the Texans is their receiver usage. Okay, Christian Kirk, 46% route share last week. He did drop off after really going off in that primetime game against Buffalo where he had 6 targets, touchdown, had a very good game. We have actually seen other receivers take over. Xavier Hutchinson is kind of in the receiver 2, receiver 3 role. At his price tag, I think he's certainly in play. He's not like a lock and load option, but if we can get a few targets out of him and maybe 5 DFS points, that's going to be highly appealing here at this low price tag. He played in 55% of the snaps last week. Now, the player that has been casually breaking out here has been Jaden Higgins. Should have had a much bigger game against Buffalo. He could not get his foot down in that game. It was very annoying to watch. Literally could have had a pretty massive game against them. Very close, but couldn't get his feet down. Then last week, guys, 5 targets, 5 receptions, 65 receiving yards, pretty good stuff. Only 62% route share, only 59% of the snaps, so definitely not a lock and load, but we do see the production, guys, 5, 9, 7, 7. And again, Davis Mills a little bit more appealing for those pass catchers, but still not terrible. I do think we want to be getting to him. And then Dalton Schultz as well. Dalton Schultz playing a bunch as well. About 70+% of the snaps is what we can expect out of him. 8 targets last week with CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud does tend to like Dalton Schultz a little bit more. I think he's a fine play. I do think we want to begin to either Higgins or Dalton Schultz in a lot of our builds. Now, with that, do we want to be playing CJ Stroud? I actually struggled to get this CJ Stroud, especially with the low game total. And maybe we just look at Fairbairn where his lowest output was 4 kicking points, and then other than that, 8. So I think it's somewhat safe to assume we can get around 8 out of him. And it is worth calling out, guys. He is projected to get right around 7 points as well. So he is very appealing for this low-scoring game, but also a close game. We do expect the Houston Texans offense to be able to get going. It's just a matter of, are the Chiefs really going off? Are they forcing the Texans to maybe have to go for it when they would maybe kick it? That's the only concern there with them. And then we jump into the flip side of this, guys, the Kansas City Chiefs, which very tough matchup for them. And I will say Patrick Mahomes has had such a strange year where he has been very productive. Like last year, guys, says he was not all that great, even though he was able to, play well. Receivers, obviously sucked. This year, his pass catchers are obviously much improved. He almost seems to be playing worse than what the stats are suggesting. And obviously, I don't want to say obviously, but he does get away with some calls that I really don't think other quarterbacks would get. DPIs in certain situations. I do like there is something that's going on there. I think it's just like a bias. The Chiefs fans are pretty good as well in terms of being rowdy, which I do think slightly influences refs a little bit. That being said, Patrick Mahomes has, where he has been elite, has been rushing the football actually, which has elevated his passing game. I'm presenting it this way because we are going to be playing him. I just wouldn't be shocked if this is a game in which we see more of like the 11-point game or the 14-point game out of him. You know, Denver was a similar matchup. I do not expect him to really go off in this game. And so is he a must play? I would say no, not a must play like any other slate that he would be in on. But if he is not a must play, that also means like Travis Kelce is not going to be a must play. And he has been super weird with this season because I don't know how to describe it. He's got the old man game going very well, where if you put him on another team without Patrick Mahomes, I don't even know how much he'd be playing. But because he's with Patrick Mahomes, because he has that chemistry with him, there are certain plays that get extended with Patrick Mahomes rushing upside where Kelce gets open. I don't really need to break this down too much. We've had way too many Chiefs games on primetime. Like I'm so sick of breaking them down. Although this one is more interesting because of the matchup. It is more difficult. On top of that, guys, Kareem Hunt actually had a pretty substantial workload last week, guys. 67% of the snaps, 14 carries, 2 targets. Now, Pacheco added 2 targets as well. But if it's going to be about a, let's just say 60-30 split, and then maybe Brashad Smith gets some work as well, Kareem Hunt is certainly in play at that price tag. He does hold that touchdown upside as well. He's kind of been the short yards back. That being said, I will say Pacheco is also pretty darn cheap as well. If he is going to be playing 30% of the snaps while getting some targets, like if we can get a floor of like 2 DFS points out of him at 4.4, maybe we get a lucky touchdown on him, he is certainly in play as well. One thing that we saw happen last week with Rashee Rice is that he actually played in 90% of the snaps, which was shocking. Like Xavier Worthy had been the top receiver. And I still think Xavier Worthy is in play, guys, for sure at his price tag. We're not going to expect a ceiling game out of him. I thought last week was a very good spot for him. That did not work out. I mean, he did get 8 opportunities. We'll take that. He still scored 11.4. Like it wasn't a terrible call. Had 68 air yards, which is the same as Rashee Rice. But the snaps that he's playing at that price tag to me is still tough to pass up on. We should be getting 8 DFS points out of him. And then from there, it does feel like, all right, how are we going to get lucky? Are we going to get lucky with a Hollywood Brown TD? Are we going to get lucky with Patrick Mahomes finally hitting Tyquan Thornton on a deep ball? Tyquan Thornton had a 30% route share. Juju also had a 30% route share. Juju's pretty cheap as well. I don't think we necessarily need to get to them. And then for what's worth, guys, Noah Gray is back today. Okay, so Noah Gray has been someone that has been playing, occasionally a decent amount of snaps. It really is just due to how the Chiefs feel like they can attack a defense. We could end up seeing a little bit more 2 tight end sets here in this game. And I feel like he's too cheap because if it is a Noah Gray game, like we're not expecting a lot, but if we can get 4 DFS points out of him at 1.8, like that becomes much more appealing than Pacheco. Although Pacheco does hold more touchdown upside. But Noah Gray is kind of like the lowest price player that I think we want to get to. But with this, we know we're playing Rice as well. I do think we probably want to try to get to Mahomes, but I think a lot of people are going to do 2 kicker lineups, and I'm okay with that for this slate. I think that ends up working out. The issue that I have on the slate is who the heck are we playing in the captain spot? I honestly don't know. I think that's tough. I think that's the toughest part about this slate. I'll get to Nico Collins, I guess. And then we probably are just looking at a kicker here. 7.1 left over. If I could get up to Kareem Hunt, I feel comfortable doing that. I don't mind the idea of playing one of the kickers one of the DSTs as well. I'm kind of okay with that. Don't necessarily love it though. This is the tough part about this slate. Now, if we are doing a slightly different build, maybe we go Higgins in the captain spot. We would obviously want to get to CJ Stroud. That's not possible with this current build that I have going. I don't necessarily want to pivot off of this. I feel like this is a very strong look. We could get off of Fairbairn. I don't want to necessarily get that many Houston Texans. I'm okay getting to Woody Marks or Kelce here. I don't necessarily feel comfortable not getting to a single QB on the slate though. And so we'll go ahead and show you guys kind of what the 9-to-5 lineup builder is going to tell us are the best builds as well. I'm actually very interested to see what it's spitting out to us here. So we'll click run. Top lineup right now is Patrick Mahomes, Nico, CJ Stroud, Dalton Schultz, Fairbairn, and Pacheco. Again, I don't know if I necessarily like Pacheco. Who are the pivots there? Nick Chubb, basically the same play. So I don't mind that. They'll see the top chalk build. Stroud, Rice, Mahomes, Buckner. It's also okay. Who can we get to instead? We actually have enough salary here to get up to Pacheco there, so not terrible as well. So definitely some interesting builds for us today. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. I appreciate you being here. Make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well. If you guys would like access to that 9 to 5 NFL DFS lineup builder, it's available for a low monthly cost of $10 a month. It's a very straightforward tool. I make it as easy as possible to use while also producing the best lineups each and every night. That's going to do it though for this video, guys. Appreciate you being here. Good luck. And as always, let's keep cashing.